Hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. Matt, it's Sunday night. We're back again live with all of our friends both on Twitch and on YouTube. I got a good feeling about this one.
I do too. I got a good feeling just because I know people are busy watching with the Spider-Man trailer, so like we can talk about whatever.
Yes.
We could leak heaps of stuff and no one would know.
And no one would pay attention.
Kevin Feige's too busy trying to shoot Tom Holland or something. Whoever leaked that stuff.
Now, Tom Holland is happy because for once this big Spider-Man leak wasn't his fault. It was Ruffalo. Ruffalo did it. Let's start that rumor right now. Also, thank you, Michelius, for the subscription and everything. Yeah. Where is the trailer? Apparently, it's everywhere and nowhere, Cosmic Reject. Matt has seen it. I haven't seen it yet.
I will say that there is a link on a certain chat app that people use that starts with a D. So if you go to our version of that, you might see it. Yeah, Schmishmord.
I often forget we have a Schmishmord because I am just so... That's like one social media app too many. That's the same reason why I won't get Schmick and all the other ones. Where I'm like, no, I'm too old. My ass is falling out. These apps are for the young, not me. Hell, we still do our streaming and recording there on frickin' Skype, because, we're that old.
Yeah, it works.
It works. It gets the job done. It's what we learned, and we're not going to change, dagnabbit.
Yeah.
I hear good things about the StreamYards, but you got to pay money for that, and also we're very cheap.
I just paid for Streamlabs, so yeah.
And it's showing off too, because everything looks great.
Yeah.
It looks great. So yeah, we're back again, Matt. We're here doing the show. Big news week, not quite as big as news week, but pretty close. So be sure to keep your ears and eyes open for that. We're going to be talking about what we read this week. But as always, it's time to start with a good old-fashioned segment. You love it, I love it. How was your week?
Not too bad. I watched 2 shows that I didn't have really any interest in watching, but they turned out to be quite fun. The first one was I watched some of that Monsters at Work show on Disney Plus.
I watched that too.
It's pretty good. It's
not bad.
It's a show that's it's aimed at children, but it's not really for children. It's for us children.
Very
like
much
people
so.
Our age.
I do believe that's called all ages appeal, which is something that I'm glad to see the Disney Corporation dipping their toes back into. I give the show all the credit in the world for actually getting around what I'm sure was a very tough situation, and that is, we can't pay John Goodman and Billy Crystal to be in every episode. What do? We'll create new characters.
Yeah, and they'll only appear in certain episodes every now and then. They'll record all their lines in an afternoon.
Smart, very smart. Yeah, fun show, workplace comedy. If any place was going to be a workplace comedy, I can understand why it's that show. It also gives me hope for the Zootopia show and the Princess and the Frog show that they're also doing, that hopefully they will be similar.
Yeah, I really hope so. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I like the new characters and getting to explore that world again. It was fun.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I will admit that, it's very more laid back and casual if you're looking for, any sort of emotional hooks there like they had with Boo in the first movie and everything. It's not really there. It's actually a lot closer to the sequel.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Which is fine. And again, you don't have, your typical, Pixar villain who starts out as a good, helpful person, but then ultimately turns out to be a bad guy. They haven't done that yet, but it's still early.
Yeah, they can still do that.
Yeah, Fonzie is actually the bad guy. Again, Henry Winkler is in the show, everyone. He's quite good in it.
He is. So is Kelly Marie Tran.
Yes, she's in it too. And, Mindy Kaling is also really good in it as well.
Yeah.
They got some good voices on that one. Another Disney Plus thing that I'm sure you watched this week was, of course, the second episode of What If.
Yeah.
Wow, holy shit. We talked about it last week being like, "Oh, this Captain Carter one, it was a nice, slow, easy one to get people acclimated to the idea of what if." I'm sure they'll get more complex and nuanced as they go on, and holy shit did they.
Yeah, this one like changed like everything, like just that one change of like what if T'Challa was picked up instead of Peter Quill, and it changes everything. It makes the Guardians of the
Yes.
Galaxy, first off, don't actually exist. It's just the Ravagers, and the Ravagers are their own superhero team.
Yeah, where you get to see good guy Taserface and good guy Thanos.
Yeah, oh, that was great. I love that
That was
running joke
amazing.
about how he wants to do that genocide, wants to do that
Oh,
genocide.
silly Thanos. Silly Thanos and his genocide.
And I like the idea as well that had T'Challa met Thanos earlier, he probably could have convinced him to not go ahead with his plan. That's an interesting idea.
Very,
Like that
because he's
itself
just
is
so
like a what
charismatic.
if. That itself is a what if.
Yeah, it's a very fun idea where they're like, yo, T'Challa is just so charismatic and such a born leader. You could put him in anywhere in the universe and he would thrive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I freaking love that idea. I love Femme Fatale Nebula, who
Yeah.
actually kind of ends up reconciling with her father a little bit near the end. Thanos, who actually fights his own Dark Order, which is super cool. And
Mhm.
a universe where the Collector became the #1 bad guy.
Love that idea that if Thanos hadn't become like a galactic warlord, that like the Collector would have thrived and become like a Chad. He'd become Ric Flair.
There. He really is. Woo! Styling and profiling and limousine jet flying. Oh, he had it all, didn't he? He literally had it all. He had a
Yeah,
collection of
yeah.
weapons and Easter eggs from other movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also, Chadwick Boseman's last performance, and yeah, he was not phoning this one in.
No, he wasn't. That he was absolutely fantastic. There was a great part in there as well where it felt like it was part of the story beats in the episode, but it also felt like the actors talking to one another. And that was that
Very.
scene in the Wakandan ship where his father John Candy is talking to him about how his son is lost, but they'll find him in this life or the next. And I'm like, oh, that kind of feels like a bit
Oh,
foreshadowing there. Yeah,
yeah, that one hits. Also, too, his dad T'Chaka gets to live now because he
yeah,
went to space, which means he probably never went to meet the rest of the world, and because of that, he gets to live.
yeah, yeah.
It's crazy. This episode I thought was so quintessentially the what if comic
Hmm.
concept where it's like, oh yeah, you go for broke in this. You do whatever the hell you want because it's a one and done story.
Yeah, you could do whatever you want.
And they do. And they even put a little extra little cherry on top where it's like, okay, well, what would have happened to Peter Quill in this world? Oh, he would have worked at the Dairy Queen from Guardians 2, and he would have met his dad, Kurt Russell, just later.
Yeah, and that could possibly spell the end for the universe. I'd love if they picked that up in like season 2 or
Same.
something.
I love Peter's choice of music too. He's listening to Flock of Seagulls, Outer Space Love Song, which
Hmm.
is so fitting for him.
Yeah.
And also, what is it? When people think of Flock of Seagulls, they think Anna Ran, but Outer Space Love Song is actually probably their best song. And you hear it so much because you actually heard that song in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Hmm.
That was playing at the dance. I like that this song is just like weirdly recurring throughout the Marvel universe. But yeah, it's great. What If continues to be great. I think this is the one that if anyone had any reservations about what this one might be, this one's like, oh, okay, we're in. Yep, this is the good shit.
Yeah, yeah. What's this week's episode? Is it the Doctor Strange one or
I think.
yeah? Because I heard people either say it was the Doctor Strange one or it's like Fury's big week, which is like the week of Avengers, where he goes and
Right.
meets like Iron Man and Thor and Hulk and all that.
There was a leak of episode titles, but I know they're not up on Wikipedia yet because I guess they're trying to keep a lot of them secret week to week,
Yeah,
which is kind of smart.
yeah. It is. It is. It's a nice surprise.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you don't even know what this is going to be this week. It could be anything.
Hmm.
We got Doctor Strange, we got zombies, we have a Thor-centric one by the looks of it too.
Yeah, there's one where Ultron wins, gets like the Infinity Stones.
That will be very interesting. Actually, I think someone leaked some art to me they weren't supposed to of that one.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that art as well.
Oh, is it the one where he's a knight?
Yeah,
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's
yeah.
the one. So if you love medieval Ultron, there you go.
Mm.
Everyone's saying Loki conquers Earth is the next one. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's Fury's big weak one.
Right.
Like,
Loki's been having a
yeah, I think there's like Loki isn't like an Asgardian or something.
right. Man, Loki's been having a good go of it recently. I wonder, will this have any connective tissue with the Loki show?
I have to imagine there was a promo for the T'Challa episode that the start of the promo was like the TVA and that the branches and everything coming off,
Oh,
and like one of the
interesting.
branches is like T'Challa's Star Lord.
Oh, I missed that. That's very cool, though. Also, Jeffrey Wright continuing to kill it as Uatu the Watcher.
Yeah, I like that we're slowly like obviously we know where it's going, but I like that he's slowly realizing that okay, I'm not just going to be a watcher. I'm going to get involved in all of these.
Gotta get involved in this shit. I hope too, if we ever end up seeing Uatu in the movies again, and I'm sure we will. I hope Jeffrey Wright does the voice again,
I have to imagine he will for some type of consistency.
because why else would you cast someone like that if you weren't going to?
Yeah, and he seems to like the role. Every interview I've seen of him given for this What If, he seems to really enjoy it.
Yeah, you get to basically be a god.
Yeah.
What's not to love about it? Yeah. So is that your week then?
Yeah. Oh, as Jaden was saying, the Marvel's Avengers Black Panther expansion
Oh
came out.
yeah.
I
You played that. I didn't.
I did played it, and it's really good. Black Panther is such
It
a
looks
good
good.
character.
Very good for video games, no doubt, because he can basically do all the video game stuff. He can run, fight, he can hack, he can do all the stuff.
Yeah, and he gets some pretty sick costumes. This go
I
around.
saw that.
You
The
get
skins look great.
the Exiles Black Panther with like the cowboy
Oh,
hat
right.
and like the one where took Daredevil's place. There's like all these really
Mm,
great costumes, and like the villains of the game are really cool. There's Claw and Crossbones, and they both end up
nice.
getting their comic book costumes in the end, which is fun.
Sweet. I mean, shit, guys, you kind of phoned it in to begin with, but it's nice to know you're not phoning it in now.
Oh, they're going all in it. They completely redesigned the user interface as well. Like all
Really?
the menus and everything has been completely redesigned and everything.
Huh. I'd say I might want to check it back out, but then I'm reminded that I'd have to remember my Square Enix account information, and that's just one of the
Well, if you
worst
log in
services.
on PlayStation, you should just be able to log in.
But I have it on the PC, though,
Oh, well,
my
you
copy.
should just be if it was on Steam, then it should just be able to log in.
It was. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe
Yeah.
I can. Again, I only started PC gaming the last couple years. I don't know what's up.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing.
it just should automatically log you in because you bought it on Steam. It did for mine.
That's good. I also kept up on my HBO original series thing.
Hmm.
This week I watched Mayor of Easton, and now I started watching Hacks, which ironically features one of the same actresses.
Oh, nice.
It's good. Do you like stand-up comedy in Vegas history? Do you like a character who is basically just a fictionalized Joan Rivers?
Nice.
Then you will like this, because it is all
Cool.
those things.
Awesome.
Asif Syed helping us out there with a nice donation. Hey guys,
Oh,
how's it
nice.
going? Hope you guys are having a nice day. We are. We're having an even nicer day now because you got to join the show and hang out with us.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I guess with that, if we have no old business, we can hop on to the new business, which is what the news is for this week.
Yes.
All right, so starting things off here with a big piece of news. This left, reverberations throughout the comic book, Twitter sphere and internet sphere, and then kind of died down, honestly, because people realized the sky wasn't actually falling as much as they thought it was.
Hmm.
And this story, of course, I'm referring to is Jonathan Hickman is going to be departing X-Men at the end of Inferno, which is the next big X-Men event that he is going to be writing. And people were kind of scared and horrified about this because they're like, oh no, if he's not steering the X-Men ship anymore, what can that possibly mean? Only for him to come out in interviews and be like, well, actually, I was only really going to do X-Men for 3 years anyway. I had it planned out as like this 3-arc story. Everyone's actually having a ton of fun playing in the first arc right now, and it's already grown so much bigger than what I had in mind
Hmm.
for any of it. So yeah, I think it's in good hands. I'm gonna do Inferno. He's still not leaving Marvel. That's another thing. He has Substack projects coming up, but unlike the other guys, he is still actually going to continue to be writing for Marvel.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed he's finishing up on the X-Men thing, especially since like
Right.
where we are right now, it doesn't feel like it's coming towards an end. Like it
No, it really
feels
does.
like middle of like the first act still kind of.
It really does. And again, he mentioned that in the interview that when he planned it out, it was supposed to be like a 3-part story. He even envisioned it more as like a giant sized X-Men, which ironically he ended up writing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He considered it Hawks and Pox was part 1. I don't know what he thought part 2 is. If
I guess
like
X of Swords and like the Hellfire Gala and
I guess where it's like, I thought that was the end of chapter 1. Then they
yeah.
steal Mars, and it's like, oh well, that's definitely the end of chapter 1. But then it's like, no, maybe not. But now we're coming to Inferno, which I guess is his 3rd.
Yeah, I guess so, and I guess like all the other writers are still going to continue on with this sort of stuff. So we got like Teeny Howard, who's kind of been like his like second in command basically throughout this whole thing. So I imagine she might end up like becoming head of X or like in a more like active role as like a leader in this.
Yeah. They also said it's not like they went off, Hickman's book or Hickman's idea for this. I'm hoping that, he kicked all of this, Krakoa era stuff off. He had the beginning, and I hope he had the end, and he's like, okay, you guys figure out the middle. Because, I mean, yeah, he's not doing the main X-Men book anymore. Duggan's doing that and doing a pretty good job.
Yep.
All the other books are really solid, so it's not like Krakoa or any of this other stuff is going away anytime soon. They're just going to keep riding this story, because why stop? It's all wildly successful and critically acclaimed.
That's the thing, yeah. I don't think, the minute he stops, none of this is just going to get reverted back to normal, like what X-Men was before. This is going to continue on for a couple more years at least, because as you said, it's wildly successful. All the books like have so many people reading them. There are so many X-Men books, yet like there's a consistent number of people reading them all.
Indeed. Again, this is everything Akira Yoshida wanted it to be when he took over, where he's like, yeah, we want this to, we want the X-Men to go back to their 90s heyday. And in terms of units sold and critical acclaim, I think we're there.
Yeah. They are finishing Hickman's plan, Tevya. He's just finishing up that plan.
Yeah, he only was on for 3 years. It's like, okay, time for you guys to do it, which in and of itself is kind of cool and kind of heartwarming, where it's like, all right, I started this. I rebooted what was at the time a sagging brand. I brought other people in, made them part of this universe, show run it, and now I'm free to go, and you can all continue to steer the ship that I've righted.
Yeah.
Which I like, and that's good. Hickman, I think, for all the amazing things he's done, I think a title that he will wear forever is really the ultimate fixer. Like, Avengers was in a bad place, I'll light a fire in them. Fantastic Four was kind of boring, I'll light a fire under them. X-Men, oh god, we ruined X-Men for so many years. What do we do? I know what we'll do.
Yeah, that begs the question, what will he do next, because he's staying at Marvel?
Yes.
So what's he gonna fix next?
Yeah, I don't know. What's the place you go?
I was gonna say like Eternals, but Kieran Gillen's doing such a good job on that book.
From what I understand, yeah. The Magic Universe, maybe, because feels like Marvel never knows what they're doing with that.
Yeah, every week it's something different. Yeah, but I feel like maybe Last Annihilation might be dealing with that now with Al Ewing and stuff.
True, Dormammu. I mean, it's very clear that Hickman liked Doctor Strange and everything. I'd like a Hickman Doctor Strange book.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, they are going to be killing Doctor Strange in the next few months. Maybe he writes the big return.
Yeah. Inhumans, Jaden? Yeah, definitely. Yes, please.
Yes, yeah, we got to get the Inhumans there. There's more blood to get from that stone.
Yeah, I'd like to see him go back to Avengers for a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, that would be quite the hat trick, no doubt about it. Though I think he strikes me as the sort of guy who's always like, no, new. I need to be doing new stuff all the time.
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, I mean, they got all that Beyond stuff. Maybe Captain Britain. He clearly seems to love the Captain Britain Corps, making them such a big part of everything.
Yes.
He is British, too, isn't he, Hickman? I didn't imagine that.
I think so. I'm not too sure.
I just assumed he was. I don't think I've ever actually heard him speak.
Neither have I.
Which is something you can really only do in, something you can only really do in the comic book industry.
Yeah.
Is just not hear them speak for long periods of time. No, I only know them from their writings. So that's the thing. All right then. So there's your Hickman news, everyone. The sky isn't falling. It's gonna get a little weird, maybe, but I don't think the sky is falling. I think the X-Men books are in good hands.
Yeah.
I know it's always hard to say goodbye, especially when it felt like there was so much more to be done.
Yeah, again, that's the feeling I have. It's like, but it feels like you just finished Act 2. Like, more, please, more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, I guess we can move on to our next story then. DC. Now this is huge. I was not expecting this when I woke up. DC is going to be teaming with Webtoons to create a series of brand new web comics.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the chat is saying apparently he is American. Okay.
Okay.
Well, that answers that then.
But he has a British accent. What?
Yeah, and a top hat and a monocle. Is Ewing British? Am I thinking of Ewing? Is he a British guy? Is that why I'm confused? God, I'm so confused. Help me. The Simers is kicking in. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, so DC announced this week, again, in a pretty huge, shocking turn, that they are going to be partnering with Webtoons. Now, before we started, Matt, you admitted to me that you weren't really sure what Webtoons was.
No, I said it. I said it was. It sounds very similar to like that whole Control-Alt-Delete like webcomic sort of thing.
It is webcomics. It is a whole website devoted to webcomics. In fact, I will tell a very, very true story. You know, maybe you saw me talk about this on Twitter. Maybe you didn't. Oh, Kali there helping us out again. My top books, Supergirl, Nightwing, Guardians of the Galaxy, and X-Men. Yeah. So, solid choices. We'll definitely be getting to those when we talk about what we read this week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Webtoons, yes, they are a place devoted to webcomics. I actually found out many of the people who work at DC and Marvel have their own Webtoon deal that you can put it up and everything. I was actually there when the website started. I remember that they actually tried courting me and a number of other YouTubers at the time, and my general consensus was, when I looked at the website, this looks really anime-ish. This I don't think my audience would like this. I think they would riot against me if I ever tried to cover any of this. So I didn't. And again, it's not just anime, but a very certain particular genre of anime. I'm looking at their website right now, and some of their top titles are My Gently Raised Beast, The Newlyweds Diary of a Witch and Dragon, My Younger Brother's Boyfriend. So a lot of romance, a lot of slice of life. Yes, they have a superhero heading too, but even their superhero stuff has a lot more of like an anime-ish kind of bent to it.
I feel like I might have seen. Probably not because it's Webtoons, but like I feel like I've seen like some of these on like Comixology.
Probably, yeah, because they ended up actually getting pretty big. Fun story too. So I totally blew Webtoon off when I'm like, yeah, my audience is not going to enjoy any of this. This isn't gonna be around. Webcomics. This isn't gonna make it. Well, they made me eat my words several times over. One, because of this teaming with DC News, but also there was a comic convention event that they invited me to. I didn't know they were running it, and they like basically rolled out the red carpet and shoved a bunch of swag in my face, and I knew I hadn't been reading their emails. And I felt like such a fucking dickhead about the whole thing. But it's so funny that now, again, ate my words, they become a big thing with DC now, which makes a lot of sense, because, you know, what's a conversation we're always having in the world of superhero comics, Matt? How can we get them to, you know, more people and different audiences?
Yeah.
Because guys like you and me are not going to be able to hold up the whole industry. We just can't, and we haven't for a long time.
No, not at all.
So they need to get new people, and I guess Webtoons is working as a distribution means, because, yeah, people are reading these and checking them out in pretty huge numbers, so much to the point that people like Danny Lore and everything do their regular comic stuff, but also have have work here on Webtoons as well. It's a very interesting partnership.
Yeah, it is.
Very, very interesting partnership. I think the idea is that they haven't given them the whole catalog, but they've given them a couple characters to work with.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Our chat, they're saying Box Lunch has actually been carrying Webtoon stuff. Really? I didn't know that.
Okay.
I do know Box Lunch though. They're
Yeah.
like a really cool apparel site and everything. So again, apparently they've been way bigger than I gave them any credit for.
Yeah, well, they've been building up in things we don't usually cover and everything, and yeah.
Which again, I guess means it's working and moving
Yeah.
forward. If you want to help diversify the whole thing and get more eyes on it, that's the way to go. I think the deal is that they're only allowing them to work with a couple of characters, so they're not getting the whole the whole of the DC pantheon to work with, just some of them. So I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna guess Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman
Yeah, all the usual Justice League stuff like that. Yeah.
to start with and see where it goes. I wonder, will the art be, more traditional comic book artwork that we are familiar with here in North America, or will they try and court that more anime manga centric, audience?
Well, like DC have been doing like a couple of different like anime sort of
They have.
books. Like they did one recently about, I don't know, Superman trying to find like the best food in Japan or something. I don't know. I just saw like some art of like Superman flying around Japan eating like rice bowls and stuff.
Get that tonkatsu sandwich with the crust cut off. Get it in the vending machines. Yeah, that's I mean, hell, even what is it? That Red Hood Future State book that was black and white and everything and very Akira inspired.
Yeah, yeah.
The chat also mentioning too My Hero Academia. Yeah, I can only imagine DC and Marvel look at the success of My Hero Academia and kick themselves and go like, "What the fuck do you mean? One of the biggest superhero things in the world right now is something we don't own." Yeah, I can only imagine that probably pisses them off to some degree.
Yeah, I am actually surprised there hasn't been like some like official crossover, like a crossover anime with like DC and like My Hero Academia.
Jaden, too, the creator of Afro Samurai, does cover art for Marvel. Really? I did not know that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I
Yeah,
like Afro Samurai. And when I say I like Afro Samurai, I mean I like the video game they made, the 1-season television show, which is like 5 episodes, and then like the 2nd season, which is like a movie that they also cut into episodes.
yeah.
Again, it is, you want to talk about style over substance, that is all style over substance, but when the style is that good, it becomes the substance. But yeah, so this was an unexpected piece of news here. I guess when this comes out, we'll have to look at some of the books from this one, won't we?
Yeah, I'll give it a try. I might actually like go and have a look through like later on tonight. Have a look through some of their stuff and just see what they go. Because I was looking at it just before, and they do already have like some comic book writers and artists like Fabian Nicieza and everything already doing stuff for them.
Yeah, maybe this is just how the future of comics look here in comic distribution. DC especially seems to be rolling the dice when it comes to, these crazier out there ideas for getting comics in front of more people, be it that Walmart thing they did. Yeah, it didn't totally work out. They kind of buried the comics, but it was an idea. The stuff they're doing now with the DC Universe app, even coming out with like some really fun original comics that people are super interested, like the new Milestone stuff, and even that new Harley Quinn book that is connected to the show.
Yep.
And now this here with Webtoon. So yeah, I mean, you gotta credit where credit is due for DC. They're experimenting.
Yeah, good on them.
Yeah, they're experimenting with it. They're trying new things, and that's what you got to do because the way we've been doing it, the brick and mortar model for comic books, it just hasn't been working.
It also makes me wonder that because all these deals are happening now, I wonder if maybe this was something that Diamond was preventing them from doing.
Yeah.
Because all these deals are starting to happen now after they left Diamond.
It's true. Thank you, Pat Senior, for the cheers there. I always appreciate it. Yeah, Matt, you might be onto something. And that one, you're right, because before, when Diamond had them in such a chokehold for so long there, now they don't need to follow their rules, and now they can do their own things. I don't know what a Diamond contract looked like, but I wouldn't be shocked if it had a little amendum there being like, oh, and you can't distribute through anyone but us, even digital, even for like weird experimental shit.
Yeah.
So there you go. Also, Walmart apparently sells comics in the trading card section. Hey, KT, those are two of my favorite things.
Yeah, so when you're taking bundles and bundles of Pokemon cards, you can pick up the
Oh,
latest
yes.
Batman issue.
You saw that too, right? That thing that, bandits apparently mastered the art of scissors for stealing, valuable cards. Just caught them up. Just caught them up. That's funny. Okay, so NR fan is actually a Webtoon reader there themselves. Series, I hope the DC stuff is successful. Well, that's good. Yeah, I thank you, chat, for answering that question. That is, how many of you actually do read Webtoon stuff, and if so, what do you think of it?
Yeah, would it be worth us talking about it on our channels?
For real. I mean, I'm like a couple years past that ship, but still, I think one comic book YouTuber, that Sea Monster, who we worked with and collaborated with a bunch back when I worked at the Weekly Pull and everything. I think she really got in on the ground floor of that because she did like more of the cosplay anime aesthetic stuff there. So
Yeah.
that was really good for her and everything.
Yeah.
I know I saw her shelling for it a lot. I'm actually pretty sure. What is it that I got a goddamn lanyard with their logo on it somewhere?
That'll be worth a fortune now.
Yeah, it'll be a fortune now. Who wants my Webtoon lanyard? And like maybe a canvas bag. I'm not sure. They threw a lot of stuff at me there, and I'm like, okay. Again, that's totally like the kind of startup company energy where I'm like, oh yeah, you're all full of it now and everything, but we'll wait and see if you're here in a couple years, and they were. Oh yeah, Super Eye Patch Wolf. There's another guy I know about. Yeah, see, that's the sort of stuff that makes more sense for them, and I'm not surprised that they cover it. But I mean, hey, people want to see us roll the dice on it. Maybe Matt and I'll take a look at something by a more traditional comic book writer. That'll be our way to get our toes wet. They have not said. I think this is they were just announcing the partnership. They were so excited. They just really, really wanted us all to know.
Okay.
All right. Someone there saying, used Webtoon to read a series called Orange Marmalade Legal. Yeah, that's another thing. It's a Webtoon webcomic thing where it's all perfectly legal.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, people enjoying comics legally, that's good. I don't really know how Webtoon writers and artists get paid because it looks like it's just free. But I guess they do because they keep doing it.
Maybe it's like an AdSense thing where it's like clicks.
Maybe. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
That could be something.
Does that mean we could show them on like the streams and stuff, or like how does that work?
Yes, actually. Yes, I think you can. I think that's what
awesome.
Sea Monster does.
Oh, awesome. Because yeah, it just got me like thinking. It's like, oh well, they're like Webtoons. I could like do like a stream about them.
Yeah. I think you're onto something. Okay, they do make ad money, says Mitch. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, a free thing where people still make enough money to keep doing it and be creative and reach a wide audience and everything. Maybe Webtoons really is the future. Also saying that they offered a bunch of stuff for Free Comic Book Day. Yeah, Free Comic Book Day. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but they came out with a bunch of new books, and I'm just like, yeah, you didn't really shell for a lot of these, so I don't think they're important, so I didn't end up reading any.
Yeah, I read the Batman one. I've got like the Avengers one and the Spider-Man one, but I haven't read them yet.
It just didn't feel the same. Free Comic Book Day was supposed to get people into brick and mortar stores, and it's still not really safe to get there.
Yeah.
Oh, Michelle's saying that they sell, trades too. Okay, that's interesting. You can read it there for free, do the ad revenue thing, and then if you really like, you can buy a physical copy.
That's cool, yeah. That's probably also where they make a lot of their money.
That's very interesting. That's definitely doing it differently.
Yeah.
Huh, that's kind of cool. All right, moving on from there, we got some Eternals news. They had the final trailer of the Eternals that came out this week, and it asked the question that every pedantic fan was asking, and that is, of course, if the Eternals are so cool, is so great, why didn't they help when Thanos was there? Why didn't they help for any of the wars? And I love that's dialogue in the movie. Like, the writers already knew people were going to be asking that question.
And I love that the question is, not our job. I love that it's so simple. It's not some overly complicated. Yeah. Oh, we were stuck in the fucking Wendy's drive-through, something like that.
For 500 years.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, it's not our job.
Yeah, it's not our job. We were only put here by the Celestials to fight deviants. That's our whole job. That's our whole thing. It's very, again, it's very, arbitrary rules that like the Immortals and Highlander have to deal with. Which I like that for stories about Immortals because you will be asking those questions, so it's a good thing to saddle them with some really fucking arbitrary rules.
Yeah.
And of course, this movie is all going to be about them fighting that and being like, well, maybe we shouldn't follow these stupid arbitrary rules. Maybe now, the year of our Lord 2021 is when we finally get to be heroes.
Yeah, well, I think it might follow a same vein as the recent Kieran Gillen run where they find out that the Celestials are all dead, long dead. So like, what do they do now? Like their whole deal was to protect the Celestials. So with them dead, like, what do they do with their hands?
Yeah. Now is the time to self-determine and make our own choices. We do see a Celestial in the trailer, but that could very well be a flashback. We're not sure.
Yeah, and they look great.
They do. They look really great. Man, to think they set those up in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then, we kept seeing little, tastes of them here and there, and now they're here and look great.
Yeah, the whole movie looks fantastic. Chloe Zhao does such a good job with, like, filming stuff. Like, a lot of that apparently is filmed without actually any, like, lighting kits or anything. It's all natural lighting and everything.
Yeah, I know people were complaining where it's like, why isn't it as bright? Or, I'm like, no, they're doing an artistic thing.
Yeah.
They're actually doing a thing here. And yeah, like you said, this kind of looks to be going for that like Black Panther-y sort of, hey, we're doing a superhero movie, but it's also kind of an art house deal too. Because we're fucking Marvel and we can do anything and we make 100 of these movies a year. So yeah, we'll do a Kung Fu one and an art house movie all in the same year.
Yeah, and we'll get it directed by someone who just won an Oscar.
Also that certainly helps. So yeah, this looks pretty solid. I think this is the trailer that if you weren't sold before, this should be the one that does it.
Oh yeah, that first trailer, like a lot of people were left confused about what the whole deal is with this, but yeah, this one kind of puts all that to bed.
Yeah, this one actually explains some stuff in case you don't know who the fuck the Eternals are, which is most people.
Yeah.
And also, too, getting to see Black Knight essentially as the audience avatar and the ride along, being like, well, why didn't you do that? Well, why do Eternals do this? Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we're going to get lots of questions answered, I imagine, in the film about who they are and what differentiates them from, I guess, the Avengers and X-Men and all those people.
I will admit, I wasn't sure about Eternals, but then again, I wasn't sure about Guardians either, and that became the biggest goddamn thing ever, so there's no say that this wouldn't also be the biggest thing ever.
Yeah, I just like it. We have a fucking Eternals film. I never thought like you get these weird fucking Jack Kirby things. They're getting a movie.
If you went back in time in 2008 when like the first Iron Man movie was coming out and you told me, yo, in 2021 there's going to be an Eternals movie, I'd be like, fuck off, 2021, we're never going to get there.
And it's after the Shang-Chi film.
Yeah, it comes after that. I'd be like, oh, really? You mean they skipped Moon Knight and everyone else and went right to here? Yes.
Yeah, and Moon Knight's coming out a little later on. He's got a TV show coming out after Hawkeye. Yeah.
Hawkeye TV show? Wait, what? Come back, future me. What are the lottery numbers? The Captain Coon again helping us out. Well, you see, that's over there, and over there has to deal with itself. The Eternals. Yeah, fair enough. Which, again, I like they build that out too by being like, well, how much of a serious threat are these deviants you're fighting? Oh, they're pretty serious.
Yeah.
They're pretty horrifying, as they should be.
Yeah, the deviants in it look pretty cool. I like it. I think the first one they fight on that beach with that little kid there watching Icarus fight. I think that's actually from the Kieran Gillen run. Because there's a whole deal with this kid like waiting for an Eternal to turn up to deal with a deviant.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure too the movie will touch on the things that the comics love to touch on, and that is, hey, Cersei and Icarus and everything else. We have the names of ancient gods because, well, that was just us wearing different hats, and the deviants, those are minotaurs and hydras and krakens and all those other horrible monsters from mythology that we've been protecting you from.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, he's going to do that. Absolutely.
So again, it's a lot like Highlander.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with that. I'm fine with superhero Highlander.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's your Eternals news there, everyone. Get ready for it. Get hyped.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, I'm hyped for it now. Now, our next piece of news here involves another new Marvel series coming down the pipeline. It's going to be a new solo miniseries starring everyone's favorite ever-loving blue-eyed thing, and they got a novelist attached to this one. Walter Mosley is going to be writing it.
Yeah.
Now, isn't it funny when it's like, hey, there's a new Fantastic Four series, and like, meh, maybe I'll check it out, maybe I won't. But when there's a new Thing book, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I gotta
Hell
read
yeah.
Why is it I love the Thing more than I love the team that he's on?
He's like the soul of the team. He's,
I guess so.
Yeah, he's lovable.
He's just so much fun, is what he is, and you can put him in any situation, and it instantly gets cooler / funnier if he's in it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. And I mean, yeah, if there's any new comic book writer who wanted to take a swing at it, why not the Thing?
Yeah, he's a fun character. Yeah, I'm sure there's like a lot you can do with the character. That hasn't been done yet, because has he had a solo series before? He's always had like team ups, hasn't he?
Yeah, Dan Slott had a solo series from. I think he's had like a few like very short miniseries.
Okay.
Because everyone just loves the Thing that much.
Yeah.
And the cover is pretty solid too. He's coming right at you. Everyone watch out, he's coming right at you. The chat mentioning it's clobbering time there. I know you don't follow wrestling as closely as I do, Matt, but over the weekend, CM Punk returned to wrestling after, a 7-year hiatus. People never thought he would wrestle again. And his catchphrase, which wasn't his, was literally clobbering time.
That's cool.
That he just used independently, and I'm like, ooh, is he gonna be allowed to keep using that? And it's like, not really, because AEW is part of like the TNT Turner network, which itself is owned by DC and Warner Brothers. So no, he probably can't say it anymore. And he didn't say it. I thought that was interesting, because I know all the AEW wrestlers are like, oh, look, they gave us new Space Jam shirts. And like, oh, look, we got to see an early press screening for Suicide Squad. And I'm like, so no clobbering time, huh? Unfortunate.
No, well, who's like the equivalent at DC, and what's their catchphrase?
Yeah, really. Well, no, it's weird, because like... what is it? In WWE, same deal. Roman Reigns, one of his finishing moves was literally the Superman punch.
Mm-hmm.
And they never got them in trouble for that. But
well, I think that's like an actual move name. Like, it's not like he's not like coined it the Superman punch. I think it's actually called that, like the actual technique.
But there's only one Superman. Also, it's a very unimpressive punch if you've ever seen it. It's just
it's just very simple punch.
If it was a real Superman punch, it would come flying at you. It would be a spear and a punch. But I'm off topic. Yeah, Thing looks fun. I'll definitely check this out. I am a sucker for the Thing.
Yeah.
Now, next up here, we have some Daredevil news, some potentially huge Daredevil news as well that I feel got drowned out on top of everything else. Chip Zdarsky announced that his run would be concluding as of issue 36.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good run. 36 issues plus a couple of annuals.
Yeah, not bad at all. They also implied that it was going to conclude with a big old wedding issue, because obviously that's what Elektra has been working towards this whole time,
mm-hmm.
where it's like, only by our union, Matt, you and I, can we defeat the Hand forever.
Yep.
Now, what is interesting about this is like, well, 36 issues, that's still fairly early to leave a book that, is like one of the hottest, most critically acclaimed things right now. But a lot of people think it's not the end, because August 30th is going to be a big Daredevil anniversary. I'm not sure if it's like 30th or 40th or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a big anniversary, and apparently Zdarsky has something to announce around that time.
Ooh, interesting. Although, saying that knowing Zdarsky, it's something completely unrelated.
True.
He's going to Webtoons.
Yeah, really. He does know how to play the game. He does know how to fuck with people in the best, most loving way. So potentially, that is something that could happen. I'm going to put some money on it now. I'm going to guess is that, it's going to be Matt and Elektra married, and the book is going to re-debut from #1 as Daredevils.
Yeah, I could see that. Or Daredevil and Elektra or something.
There you go. Daredevil and Elektra, something like that. because again, what is it? Zdarsky also spoke of his run in terms of chapters, and he said like, "Oh, if you think the first chapter was amazing, wait till you see the next two."
Ooh.
Which seek to imply to me that he ain't done yet.
No, I don't. I think like because I think Marvel has seen like how successful his run is, so I think they'll allow him to keep continuing. I've got to catch up on it. I dropped off at around issue 22, so I've only got a couple of issues to catch up on.
Yeah, it's,
I thought for some I just looked that up and I'm like, where did I drop off? Issue 21? Really? What the fuck?
Is good, is real good.
Yeah, well, I've been following it from like what you've been saying and just following what like Twitter has been talking about it, and yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
I'd also hate to be the person who had to come in and fill shoes on this one too.
Yeah.
Which again, I know Daredevil, as I've mentioned before, is one of the greatest successions of writers and artists for any comic book character, but everyone hates being the new kid.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Hickman's Daredevil.
Oh fuck! Also, thank you, True Believer, for the kind words there. Yeah, what the fuck would Hickman's Daredevil been like?
Space.
Space. He goes. It's the only place he hasn't gone yet. Daredevil versus Mephisto, the actual devil.
Yeah.
That could be an angle he could take it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what like Hickman's Daredevil. I don't know.
Again, he loves his cosmic. He loves these big, huge ideas blowing stuff up. But so much of what makes Daredevil fun is because he is this smaller scale character.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
So first things first, we out his identity, but everyone does that.
Yeah. Well, for now we're going to give back his sight. Well, that's been done before.
Damn it! What has been done? Well, we're going to make his imaginary brother real. No, we did that too. Shit.
Yeah, we only just did that a couple of issues ago.
So everyone in the world goes blind, and Daredevil has to help.
And he's the only one who can see.
Yeah. How about that?
That's actually pretty cool. Everyone in New York or in Hell's Kitchen, like somehow just goes blind.
Oh, and he has to teach them, so he has to become the new Stick and teach them how to like use their abilities.
Yeah.
Also, Cosmic Reject, wasn't there a Cosmic Daredevil? Yeah, I guess there was for War of Realms. He got to be Heimdall for a minute.
Yeah, that was cool.
And he got to see everything. Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, that was really cool, and that kind of went nowhere.
It did. He got a big sword. They said that him and Heimdall were going to go on an adventure, but we never got to see that adventure.
We didn't get to see a lot of things that War of Realms told us.
It's true. Punisher got to go to the 9 realms, and he got to shoot like goblins and shit.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool.
Oh, Syed got a good one there. Daredevil changes religion. Yeah, I'm an atheist now.
He joined Scientology.
Oh my god, that would actually be really fucking great. But he's like going undercover in Scientology to try and bring not quite Tom Cruise down.
He's got to fight goddamn John Travolta.
Oh, he's the final boss. Oh my god, Daredevil, you're on my plane that I'm flying. Oh my god, let's have a fight on top of my big plane. He likes planes. I don't know if you knew that, but he does.
I know.
Parks it in his freaking driveway. That's how much he loves planes. That's what he does. Someone said Daredevil in Hell. I feel like that. I don't think that has been done, but I feel like it has to have been done at some point.
That's like a no-brainer. Oh, the devil goes to hell, you know?
Yeah, because they did like what is it? Freaking Wolverine in Hell. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Cosmic Rhea. Jewish Daredevil with ninja stars. Yep, that's how you go. Jewish stars of Daredevil. I'm not Daredevil anymore. I'm the Hebrew Hammer now.
Now, is that disrespectful to use the Star of David as like a ninja shuriken?
I don't know. Jewish fans, and I know you're out there, please tell us. Is that disrespectful or not? Is that sacrilegious? I mean, I'm sure you could hit someone with a crucifix, but, it's just not good.
Yeah.
What do you mean the crucifix isn't a sword I can swing around? Friggin' religion, I tell ya. All right, so there was all the news for this week, everyone. Not a ton of stuff going on, but some of the stuff is definitely going to have some major reverberations.
Yeah, some pretty good stuff as well.
Yeah, from the last 2 weeks there, just when I thought like, oh well, things are gonna calm down for a bit, they didn't.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna keep getting more and more. It's funny as well because like all these things got announced just like on Twitter and through like the usual like outlets. Whereas like I think like 2 weeks before we had like San Diego Comic Con, or had San Diego Comic Con, and like barely anything got announced there.
Yeah, let this be the ultimate reminder that the conventions so do not serve the purposes that they once did.
Yeah. We don't
Breaking.
need them. We don't need them in the time where Twitter and the
Mm-hmm.
TikToks and everything exist.
Yeah, I don't think they're needed anymore, is what it seems.
Yeah.
Which I guess is fine because it means you don't have that fear of missing out and feeling like you have to go to these big trade shows if you want to be the first to know.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess. Though I guess I do have like a pang of old man pain there. It's like, well, back in my day,
We had to go and sit in line for 10 hours.
uphill both ways. So that's a thing. Alrighty, then I guess we can talk about what we read this week. Where would you like to start, Matt?
Let me grab my list. What do we have this week? We had Superman and the Authority, issue 2.
Indeed, we did. A jam-packed issue. I assumed every issue was going to focus on a different member of the team like it did Manchester Black, but this one definitely, went for broke in, basically introducing every other member of the team minus OMAC.
Yeah, well, there's only 4 issues, so I could see why
Really?
they did this. Yeah, well, it's going to be continuing in like Action Comics and all of those other books as well.
This is set up, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I like that this issue was like an anthology book.
Very.
Where we get to see the recruitment drive, where we see like Natasha Irons fighting like literal trolls, like internet trolls,
and edgelords. Don't forget that.
Oh, that's such a Grant Morrison thing. The internet has like come alive with femtotech, and it's like a baby, but it's picked up on like all the worst takes on Twitter and like developed like a terrible personality.
And that Natasha is sympathetic for like, oh, you poor AI, you learned how to interact with people by learning from us, and we are terrible, shitty role models. I'm sorry.
That's like such like a Superman thing to do as well.
Very.
Like not like beating up the enemy, just like standing there and talking it and trying to understand it and everything.
Yeah, really. Also, like, totally a real thing. I get the feeling Morrison read the same thing that I read about that Twitter AI bot that, like, in 24 hours, that the internet made racist.
Yeah. It was great. I liked that there was, like, robots wandering around and going, like, hot singles in your area.
Your area.
It was, like, so fucking funny.
Man, which I imagine that's probably so close to what the real robot apocalypse is going to be. We're all going to die, but it's going to be really annoying before we do.
Yeah.
Do you want cryptocurrency? Grow your penis 10 inches with pills. Kill, never stop. That's what I feel like it's going to be. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Man, Natasha Irons having a great week this week between that comic and the finale of the Superman show.
Yeah, she's going to be a series regular in season 2.
Yeah, crazy. That was good. Then we, of course, meet Midnighter and Apollo, who are having, what is it, like a couple's argument?
While dealing with, like, kidnapped psychic children that have been butchered and turned into a giant, like, pro wrestler Frankenstein monster. So this is the most, like Midnighter and Apollo thing to deal with.
It's very classic Authority, and I like... Manchester Black's like, when I put together my own elite, these guys were actually my inspiration. I'm like, oh, interesting. He's inspired by the Justice League that was a take on the Justice League.
Yeah, it makes sense as well. Like the edgy Justice League. Yeah.
Yeah, that all tracks, that all kind of makes sense and everything. And also, I love that this is like, I don't know if it's the first time canonically that Apollo is meeting Superman, but they sure treat it like it is.
Yeah, well, I don't think it is, but like, yeah, it's more or less the first meeting of them.
Which I like a lot because, Superman is losing his powers. He needs to put faith in the next generation. Here's a guy who, basically worships the ground you walk on and modeled everything about him on you.
Yeah. I like their meeting as well. It's very just kind of low key. They just like shake hands, but like, okay, we're on a team now.
Yeah. We're on a cool, different sort of team. The last one they pick up is Enchantress, and apparently a lot is going on with Enchantress.
What's not going on? She's fucking going through some fucking
Shutter
weirdo
Island.
fucking Shutter Island berserk hell world.
Yeah. Oh no, my boyfriend is a Satanist and is sacrificing me to demons and having an affair with my alternate personality. No, wait, I'm actually in a mental asylum. No, wait, I'm actually in hell and I lost a baby. What?
And the guy doing all this is like a giant head.
Yeah, Dizamore, which is a very creepy design.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I love it too, you know, when she's at her absolute lowest, Superman just shows up like, hey, wanted you for our team, even if this is hell, we're literally going to go to hell and back to get you.
Yeah, we're going to save you.
Yeah. Fun to see her there too, because, you know, June Moon had enjoyed a small little push thanks to being in that first Suicide Squad movie, and then it all fell off.
Yeah, she hasn't really appeared in anything. Like, I think literally like the last thing I remember seeing her in was that Justice League versus Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was the last big thing. I didn't read that whole Suicide Squad run afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't either. I don't know whether she was in it or not, but yeah, I haven't seen her since.
Yeah, so it's good that, you know, Morrison picked her. Weird too, of all the magical characters that you know, Morrison could have picked, Enchantress was the one.
Is it though? Because they really seem like that's the type of character that they would choose. Because it's like I'm gonna choose. Like I could choose like, you know, Cersei, or like
Jason
or like Zatanna. No, I'm gonna choose Enchantress because it's fucking weird, and I can do all this weird shit with it.
True, because they're weird and fucked up, and there's probably less mandates attached to Enchantress than there would be for Zatanna or Jason Blood or anything else.
Yep.
So, you know, yeah, let's just do weird ass sigil magic and everything because we can. Yeah, so that one's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The one thing as well that's like kind of a running thing through the issue is Manchester Black he's trying to get himself intoxicated with like cigarettes and like booze, but he can't because of what Superman has done to him, like when fixing him.
Yeah, it's a hell of a thing.
And he's like, he can't do it, and he's like sobering the guy up basically.
Yeah, he's making him go through detox in 12 steps. Khalid brings up an interesting point, and he's not the first person to bring this up either. You think the baby that she had was her and Crocs, because apparently in the Suicide Squad we didn't read Enchantress and Killer Croc were a couple.
Oh, wow. Maybe.
Depends if Morrison paid attention. That can be your headcanon. No one's going to tell you that can't be headcanon.
I have a feeling Morrison would have paid attention to something like that, because that's really fucking weird.
Very, very, very. It's not like you got a whole lot of Enchantress stuff to catch up on. You had one book. I guess from one DC book this week to the other, I had Nightwing 83.
Yes, I've got to catch up on this. I'm 2 issues behind, but I did see everything that happened in this book, though.
Yes, it's Dick finally deciding what he wants to do with Alfred's money and everything, and the thing he wants to do is give it all away.
Yep, as I thought he was gonna.
He's gonna give it all away, and it's a whole story about him going around to, you know, all of his nearest and dearest friends, the Titans, Leslie Tompkins, Lucius Fox, and eventually Superman.
Yeah, because Superman is who he's named from. The Nightwing.
Bring that up.
Yes.
They bring that up here, and it's really wonderful. And Superman's like, shouldn't you be talking to Batman about this? And Dick says, well, you know, he has an amazing habit of getting people to change their minds and also making them think stuff was their idea. And Superman's like, oh, yeah, that's Batman all around.
And he might want to take my money because he doesn't have money anymore.
Yeah, he's one of them poor right
he'll
now.
He'll want a loan for a new Batmobile or something.
Batman's just got like a bunch of blueprints. Okay, so I call it the Batmobile 5.0. It's got cup holders and a stereo.
It's gonna cost $5 billion.
Yeah. Look, I'll also be living in it because they burnt my house down in Detective Comics. I just need a car I can live in, Dick. I'll pay you back. Do you have a job? Do you have stocks? Nope. So that's fun. It's great too because Taylor goes out of his way to actually kind of name drop the Superman book he's writing by saying, hey, Dick, I watched you grow up. You're the best of us. You're at the forefront of a whole new generation of heroes. And, you know, if for any reason I'm not here, I would hope that John could look to you and look up to you and everything to be a hero. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice.
That's like like a crossover I'm really looking forward to.
Oh, you know,
Just because like the name Super Sons would have a double meaning there, because technically Nightwing is a son of Superman,
the
like
original son.
with the name Nightwing and everything, and like I think that'd be
Absolutely.
really cool.
It is cool. And again, this is basically freaking, what is it, Taylor pointing up to the stands and going like, don't worry, we'll tell that story. That's coming, I promise. He did say he had plans for the Super Sons in his book. He didn't say which incarnation.
Yeah.
I didn't say which one. But yeah, it's cool. You know, he talks about saying that, you know, his first step is he wants to end homelessness in Bloodhaven because he met all those wonderful homeless kids in the first couple issues.
Yep.
And it's great, too, because he gets text messages in his group chat from all the other Bat family members congratulating him. Except for Jason, who says, you owe me $20.
Of course.
Yeah, that's Jason. Callie, again, Nightwing 83 has got to be an issue of the year. For me, it's up there. That's for sure. It's definitely a hard one to beat. Captain Cunningham, Batman is broke-ass Buster Nightwing. Yes, he is. He's a broke-ass Buster. Always asking for money. But yeah, it's real solid. You know, we find out that Nightwing's sister actually is trying to undermine the mob from the inside, and also that heartless serial killer guy might also be an affluent member of the Bloodhaven elite, adding a whole other thing to this whole haves have not, you know, money thing.
Yeah, of course there's a rich elite who's like stealing the hearts of like homeless people.
Literally. You see, I was doing it figuratively, but I mean it literally.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a fucking banker or something giving shitty loans. That's why I steal hearts by day and by night as well. But yeah, so it's solid. Also, thank you, Poppy Samdi. Appreciated. But yeah, so that was a really good one.
Awesome.
What else did you have, Matt?
I had Kang the Conqueror #1.
I also had this. I almost didn't read it, but I wanted to give it a chance anyway, because obviously they're putting a lot of eggs in the Kang basket now for him to be the next big thing.
Yeah, and here they kind of setting up a different story for Kang. Well, it's different, but I can kind of see exactly where the story's heading.
It's the same and it's different.
Yeah, and that is we find Nathaniel Richards, who will become Kang, decide he wants to leave his future because he finds it boring and it's sterile and it's a cage for him, and
he's all pissy about how nice things are.
Yeah, he hates nice things, and he wants to explore the past and go to a different time where things weren't as boring, and he eventually runs into Kang. Well, Kang actually runs into him because it's all preordained sort of stuff. And Kang's like, I'll teach you everything I know because you're me and I'm you, and I've got to teach you to not do the mistakes I made. So they end up going to like the Cretaceous period, like a year before the meteor hits the Earth and causes the mass extinction, and they've got a year to like train and sort of learn.
Take a montage.
Yeah, big multi-page montage.
I love young Nathaniel Richards is like, hey, should I be crossing my own timeline? Won't this create a paradox? And older Kang is like, shut the fuck up. I love paradoxes.
Yeah, they're my greatest weapon in my arsenal.
Yeah, I am this is literally my bag. Stop asking questions.
Yeah, and we learn that Kang isn't exactly like this perfect person that Nathaniel thought, because we find out that he's kind of a bit of an alcoholic.
Yeah, he drinks and he cries about the love that he lost.
Yeah, he drinks, he then disappears into timelines to like go and like cry in corners while Ravonna Renslayer dies and all that sort of stuff. And that he imparts that lesson to Nathaniel, and that don't love. Love will only slow you down and make you be defeated.
What conquers the conquerors.
Yeah. So of course Nathaniel falls in love.
Yeah, it's the next thing he does. I'm like,
literally the next thing.
He finds a sexy cave woman. And he's like, I'm into this.
Yeah, and Kang's like, no, you're not, and just destroys their entire village. And I like that. That's how he gets the marks on his face.
Yeah. Which I don't think they ever gave a proper origin to before.
No.
Which is funny too, because it's like, wait, you hate that I got the marks, but you have the marks on your face in the future. Yeah, but shut up about paradoxes.
Again, this is how like Kang knew this was going to happen and everything, and knew all this was it's all preordained. So like the story has already got an ending, and that ending is Kang.
Yeah, and so he gets his older self drunk and steals his time suit so he can go back to the time of Ramatut.
Yeah, and I guess he's just going to be fighting like his other selves or something.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anything for them to zero in on in the whole life of Kang, which I could take or leave most of the time, is that Kang's greatest enemy is not the Fantastic Four or the Avengers. Kang is Kang's worst enemy.
Yep, Kang is.
Yeah, and that he will continually fight himself forever. It's fine, but I don't think this is a book that's going to change a lot of people's minds if they don't already like Kang.
Well, I don't think, maybe that's not like what the book was meant to do. I think the book was just meant to like sort of refresh people on who Kang is, and like new readers like, oh, I just watched that Loki show and there's Kang and everything. Oh, there's a new #1. Well, I'll pick that up and learn more about him.
They do change some stuff there, where normally the story went is that, young Nathaniel Richards found one of Doctor Doom's old time machines. Here he goes to Doctor Doom's library, but that's where he meets Kang, who takes him in time.
Again, I think that was like if Kang hadn't appeared, he would have found that time machine. Whereas like Kang appearing is like him trying to like get a drop on this and like try and make a better version of himself or something.
Right. Could be. Who knows?
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out in the future, won't we? See what I did there? Oh, the future. Is Kang Rick Sanchez? Yeah, kind of. And Nathaniel is his Morty, and they run around getting into adventures.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're just not as funny. What else did I have this week? On the other side of the Marvel front, I had Sinister 6, Sinister War of the Sinisters.
Yes. Parentheses, issue 2.
No, it's issue 3, actually.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I'm like behind on the issues.
It's already the penultimate issue, but don't worry, because they also didn't answer anything in this issue either.
God damn it, Nick Spencer.
In fact, they introduce a whole new Sinister 6 faction, so it is finally 6 groups of 6.
Okay.
And that is because for reasons yet to be explained, Kindred's like, no, it's not tough enough yet. I need to bring back a zombie version of Sin Eater, even though Sin Eater hated me when he died again and would probably want revenge on me as much as he does Spider-Man. And I also brought back all the people whose sins he stole. So Whirlwind is there, Living Laser is there, fucking Juggernaut is there, but in his new costume from his miniseries.
Okay.
Which a lot of people were mad at. They're like, but he was a good guy in his miniseries. Yeah, but his sins got taken back to him, so he's bad again.
So now he's like an alt-right live streamer.
Yeah, he's just the worst now. Just the worst. And then also, for some reason, Moreland is there too now.
Oh, really? Moreland? God damn it.
But just in the background. I love he's there, but he's the smallest one in frame. There's also some minor stuff going on there, like maybe not all the villains want to do Kindred's bidding, because, Spider-Man kind of gets in Doc Ock's ear, and it's like, it's kind of bullshit how after all your growth and change and everything, you're just doing this guy's bidding, and Ock's like, fuck off, don't remind me. And Boomerang actually has the opportunity to kill him, but doesn't, and he's like, nah, you should run, and it's like, oh, does he still feel bad about screwing him over the way he did? So, not all the villains are actually on Kindred's side.
Okay, that's interesting.
This is basically all we get from this.
Okay.
the longer I read this, the more I'm like, goddamn, you're really gonna push all the explanation into the final issue, aren't you?
Well, that's what you think, but that's gonna have even more questions, and you're gonna have to pick up giant-sized Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, Sinister War, issue 1, one-shot, whatever the fuck it's called.
No, look, if you really want to know what's happening, you got to buy my Substack book. That's where all the answers are going to be. The final page is like, want answers? Go to Substack, fuckos. See you later. Bye. And again, this is the penultimate issue of this, so there's one more issue of Sinister War, and I think 2 or 3 more issues of the main Spider-Man book.
Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. In a normal event, you'd have the main books, which would be your core storyline, and then your tie-in books, which would be the Amazing Spider-Man issues, where all the side plots are sort of fleshed out and everything. So what the hell is he doing?
Rejects in the chat saying there, I have a conspiracy theory that Nick Spencer is so afraid of internet backlash, he's just second guessing himself and making odd choices. I mean, I could see how you might think that, because obviously the reaction to Secret Empire was so bad, he never went back to social media ever again. But also, people loved what he was doing originally with bringing the marriage back and everything. I think that's all people want. Maybe in the back of his head, it's like, look, if I just bring the marriage back, if I just do this, it doesn't matter what I do between then and now.
Well, and again, it's like there's that whole added thing where it's like Spider-Man fans, like, no matter what the fuck you do, they fucking hate it. No matter what you do.
It just feels like they've been jerking off for a long time.
Oh,
it's
they
like,
fucking have. Oh, they absolutely have.
It's like, are you gonna finish or aren't you, Nick? Are you just gonna sit there? Okay, you're just gonna keep pumping away for another 22 pages. I see.
Shit and get off the pot.
Yeah. Okay, you were close there a couple times, but no, now you're back again. I'll try not to startle you next time, I guess. The only difference is because this is comic books, it's like, yeah, it'll be $5.99 to pay me jerk off for 22 pages. Oh, you got me last time, but no, I'm feeling lucky. So that's a thing. No, we didn't really talk about the Spidey trailer leak, but only because Matt saw it, I didn't.
Yeah, and it's like you have to like kind of like squint to see what's happening. I imagine we're going to get it within the next day or so now. So yeah.
I mean, hell, if anything, Marvel will probably put it up quicker, because that's the thing.
Yeah.
Usually when something gets leaked, they're like, hey, here's a better version.
Yeah.
Because we know bad versions, lead to bad press, and we don't want that.
Yeah, and people making assumptions.
People make lots of assumptions, yeah. Now, what else did you have, Matt? I had 3 more books.
I had Trial of Magneto, issue 1.
This was one of them, yes. It's the brand new big-timey event for the X-Men set that is not Inferno, but it is also a direct continuation of X-Factor.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's just an X-Factor issue.
I literally had to go back and read the final issue of X-Factor, because I did not even know that was the story where they found Wanda's body.
Yeah, no, they didn't like telegraph it or anything. Again, nope. It's like the whole Hellfire Gala was technically an event, but it wasn't like there was no like you have to go and dig for like a reading order.
Yes.
On that book.
Because there really wasn't one. It's just read what you like and put it together.
Yeah, and then they're like, X Factor, that's where Wanda's body's going to be found.
Because it's true, like, depending on the books you read, you might not even have known that Wanda was on the island, because she was only walking around in reference to in a couple.
Yeah, she was like the big issue was like Sword was where she appeared at the end of that issue with Magneto, and then that leads into X Factor issue 10 where she's found dead.
She's found dead by her own son, Speed, no less.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I must say that this book, reminded me why I liked X Factor, but also why X Factor probably didn't make it, because it's like, hey, do you love ultra dry crime procedurals a la Law and Order? I sure do, but not everyone wants that in their comic.
Yeah, it probably will not something that could translate well into comics. As TV series, yeah, it makes sense, because it keeps moving and everything, but like comics, you got to wait monthly. For stories to build up and everything, kind of defeats the purpose of it.
They also spend like whole page spreads talking about ligature marks and footprints and everything else, which I love, because I love true crime and murder mysteries and everything.
Yeah, Leah Williams did her research.
Sure did. It's good ass shit. I'm all about. I'm like, oh yeah, this reminds me why I love and miss X Factor. It's my beloved crime genre, my crimes that, no one else loves as much as me. But I'm glad that this series looks to be going out on a high note for what is like basically its final arc. It's the biggest murder.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest murder in X-Men history. And, we see how everyone kind of reacts to the murder of Wanda, and many of them wonder, hey, should we even be doing this, because she's technically not a mutant, but she did die under our care, so we're within our right to try and solve this.
Yeah, and again, that's what I quite liked about the issue, how it like kept it up with that whole sort of morally gray sort of stuff the X-Men are now, where it's like, well, she's not a mutant, so why the fuck should we care? and
Why should
like,
we care?
and there's that like the whole thing where it's like, they find out that like she was maybe possibly killed by someone who has control over like magnetism, so they immediately
Yes.
think it's Magneto.
Metal residue.
Even though there's probably like at least a dozen mutants who can do that and people who can mimic those powers, they
That's
immediately
true.
think it's him.
Which they're quick to bring up in this comic in the big fight when they're trying to bring Magneto in. It's like, Sync, you're copying my powers, but
Yeah.
you're not as good as it. Polaris, you're attacking me with Magna powers. I'm like, why did no one think that they're... because they're on the X-Men and former members of X-Factor themselves.
Yep, and Magneto wants her brought back to life, and that was something he was getting ready to champion, was her being brought back in as a mutant, basically.
Which I love that scene, and I love the reasoning where Xavier's like, well, actually, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, despite not being mutants, tricked Cerebro for years into us thinking they were, so we do actually have backups of their minds, so potentially we could do it, but, it would be playing God if we did, so we shouldn't, and Magneto freaks the fuck out, being like, we play God all the time!
Yeah, goddamn, yeah, when it's something that you don't want, something that's probably going to be a detriment to like your grand experiment, like someone with reality warping powers on the island, they don't want to do it. And I also like throughout the issue there's the whole thing where it's like the mutants are talking about, oh yeah, we have a duty to do this, and because we're better than humans, we're past like bullying and all that. And I love that they're like, all the mutants are like throwing parties about this woman, like throwing huge parties because this woman died, a woman that most of them don't even know, and the ones that do know have been fed like very biased stories about her from Exodus.
Absolutely, which I love. That's not a thing too, where it's like, well, you trained the whole island to hate her. How do you know one of these young mutants didn't kill her because of the propaganda you've been feeding them? Also, too, when they take the vote on the Quiet Council of who's going to bring her back, only Nightcrawler and Kitty Pryde agree with Magneto because, well, they fought alongside Wanda and they saw the good in her and everything. Even fucking Storm, one of the, best, most moral, upstanding mutants, doesn't vote to bring her back.
Yeah, again, like, a lot of these mutants know what Wanda is like, and she's an Avenger, she was an X-Men, she was all this sort of stuff, but nah, she's a pretender.
Yeah. Kali there helping us out again. I'm all but certain Wanda Quicksilver's old origins will be restored now. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well, they said, they mentioned that they have a very, very old version of her, so yeah, she'll probably be a mutant again. Yeah.
Couple of retcons back. You think Billy will have a magic freak out the moment he finds out his mom is dead? That would be interesting.
Yeah, he still hasn't learned because he's off fighting in the last Annihilation. They've like cut the magic has been like cut, so he can't like sense her.
Yeah, and they mentioned why he can't come back. This is great too because after so many stories in a row of Magneto being like, "Oh, I'm the champion of Krakoa. I'm conflicted anti-hero. I believe in bleeding for one's nation and one's cause and da da da. What do you mean I'm not getting my wife? Fuck all of you. I'm gonna be a villain again." And you see the supervillain start coming out again when he doesn't get his way.
Is it really though like a supervillain? It's more so that like his sometimes daughter was killed and it's like a grief sort of thing. But yeah, I know, like I imagine like a lot of the mutants are going to like frame him as a villain for this,
of course,
like because
it is called the Trial of Magneto.
He'll become like the next pretender that Exodus makes stories up about,
Yeah, really. Well, that's what makes it so interesting, too. It's like, oh, you're mad now, Magneto, but you were totally fine when Exodus was, spreading endless propaganda about your daughter while also propping you up as the defender of mutant kind and a hero, despite the fact that you were a fucking terrorist for decades.
Yeah.
It's funny, he didn't have a problem with it then, he has a problem now. And that scene, I love the Quiet Council scene because you can read it in so many ways. Either he's guilty and he's trying to cover up the fact that he killed her, or he's innocent and that's real parental rage that no one believes in because of his dark past as a villain.
Exactly.
It's so wonderful. And then you got Mystique there too with her shit-eating grin who's loving it. Who's loving
just
every
poking
second
the
of
bear.
it.
Just poking the bear.
She's like, "Oh, what is it, Eric? Someone you love can't be brought back to life? You don't say. Oh, that's nothing like what's going on with me in Destiny right now. Oops."
You also have Polaris this issue. She's talking about like how Magneto would always like break down his daughters and like build them back up to what he want. You could also look at that as like maybe she might have been jealous
Very. That
Like,
she was still the favorite all this
yeah,
time
like
later
maybe she
after everything I've done.
saw them hugging and having that dance and got like really
Yeah.
jealous or something.
That would be a hell of a thing too, because she just became an X-Men. She's a former X Factor person, so she would be perfect to cover her tracks if she wanted to.
Exactly. Yeah, no one would suspect her.
And then we have Quicksilver returning too, and probably the biggest bit that Quicksilver has ever returned in.
Yeah.
To which she's all pissed off, and then be like, okay, are you mad because you're actually mad, or did you maybe do it and you're covering your tracks?
Yeah.
Because again, he could easily, tie her up with metal just with super speed if he wanted to.
Exactly, yeah.
That's there's a lot of very interesting suspects going on. My favorite bit is actually Quicksilver going to Blob's bar later, and it's Blob, Toad, Mastermind, and him all sharing a drink. And I'm like, oh, it's the original Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
And I like that they all go through the stages of grief through that. You got your anger, your bargaining, your acceptance, all those sorts of things. I liked that. I thought that was good. And then there's the whole thing with Wanda and like the flower motif and everything.
Very.
I was like, what the hell's going on there? Is this like Krakoa like accepting her or something?
That was my thought, yeah. She's been brought into the island. Kali Frederick again with an interesting take there. Charles' actions here and in Way of X are very telling. They are. He's had a bad week, Chuck, where he's basically like, well, can't fucking save them all.
Yeah, I've been telling you ever since the start. There's something fucking up with him. There's something fucking up with him. He's a bit evil.
I love too, where Magneto crushes the helmet around his head, and he's like, I could have fucking killed you if I wanted. I know death doesn't really matter on the island, but I could have.
Well, apparently death does matter on the island, but it depends on who you are.
Depends on who you are. Yeah, it's very fucking uneven in its application. But yeah, I liked this one. I think it's easy enough to pick up if you didn't read X Factor. Just maybe read 10 before you hop into this one.
Yeah, or just know the fact that Scarlet Witch died on the island.
Yeah. Well, okay, she died on the island, but also, as a bunch of people were quick to point out to me, that wasn't Krakoa that the party, the Hellfire Gala, was on. That was on Emma Frost's like little side island that she got in a giant-sized X-Men.
Yeah, well, it's implied in the trial issue that she like escaped her captor and like ran and ended up on the island or something. Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing there, but some people were very, sure to remind me of that. That's why I'm reminding everyone about it now, too. All right, then. What else did you have, Matt?
What did I have? Oh, I had a bunch of Star Wars books. I had like some War of the Bounty Hunters stuff.
Yes, which is getting bigger because they announced a whole new book that's spinning out of this now, an ongoing.
Kira and the original Kylo Ren and Deathstick and all these awesome characters. Yeah, well, the first one I read was the Forlum Zuckuss one-shot, which is pretty fantastic. It's just like both of them actually fighting one another because of a target that they thought they killed ends up coming back after Forlum got destroyed by Boba Fett and like reprograms him. But it's funny because like Zuckuss thinks like 4LOM is dead, so he's like full on depressed. And it's like, why do I even bother living anymore? My friend is dead. And it's great because he was in the Bounty Hunters issue where he's like in his house and he's like shirtless. And it's just like no one will feel the pain of losing a friend like I lost. And I'm a Gan Findsman, but I can't find a new friend and all that sort of stuff. It's just great. It's kind of funny. It's a little sad. And yeah, it was just like a fun little one shot.
I like it. Sounds good.
Yeah, in the War of the Bounty Hunters actual book, that's still the continuation of like that whole auction with Han Solo being sold off.
Right.
Darth Vader comes in and is like, no, I'm taking him because I'm Darth Vader. Fuck you all.
I do what I want.
Yeah, I do what I want. Kira's like, okay, you can take him, but you still have to pay us the $1 million that he sold for, that Jabba bought him for. But he's like, the Empire won't do that because we're the fucking Empire. And Kira is like, oh well, the Empire is either they don't pay their debts or they're just cheap, and that just for some reason sets Darth Vader off, and he tries to kill her, but and it's here we learn that Kira was actually apprenticed by Darth Maul, so she knows all his moves and everything and is able to fight Darth Vader. and like almost get the drop on him until he uses the Force.
Hmm.
While that's happening, we also have Chewbacca and Boba Fett fighting, and their fight they have to do it really quietly, because if people find out that the Rebels and Boba Fett are there, they're in deep shit. So it reminded, have you seen the movie The Other Guys?
Yes, I have.
It reminded me of that fight they have at that funeral wake, where it's like it's like they're all quiet and they're all like upstairs, they're all like having like a quiet fight, they're all whispering to each other and everything. And like Boba Fett sets Chewie on fire with his flamethrower, and Lando has to put him out with his cape and everything. And
yeah, he's got lots of uses.
And yeah, the issue ends with Luke turning up after his mission with Starlight Squadron, and Darth Vader contacts him and is like, "Hey, you and I, we've got to fight again. If you don't fight, I'll fucking cut Han Solo in half."
I'll do it. I'll fucking do it.
Yeah.
That's fun. Sounds like there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in the world of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I had Moon Knight this week.
Ooh, I haven't read this one yet.
Killer grandparents. bunch of old people start committing crimes in Moon Knight's neck of the woods, and he finds himself in a real awkward position where it's like, well, I can fight these old people and I'll probably kill them, and that'll be bad, or I can get beaten up by these old people, and that'll be bad.
Just push them over and break their hips.
Just break their hips just a little bit. Apparently, what is it? There's like a evil janitor using sweat to control people's minds.
Okay.
He can hack people's brains with it, and he's using it to basically create an army for, what is it, the left hand of Khonshu, who's trying to, weaken Moon Knight before he moves on in for the kill.
Okay.
And Moon Knight challenges this dude, being like, okay, you think you can hack my mind with your sweat? Go for it, bro. And he ends up going into Moon Knight's mind, which is a terrible place to be, because it's a waking nightmare of chaos.
I can imagine, yeah.
And the guy basically, becomes a gibbering mess for daring to look inside Moon Knight's mind. And I thought that was very fun and very interesting. There's also this weird but very enjoyable little side story starting to form between him and his new vampire secretary.
Okay.
Where he's like, look, I picked you for this job because I know what it's like to be weird and broken and messed up and have your very being manipulated by outside forces.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, so this is becoming a weird but very, enjoyable Moon Knight story about self-acceptance.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, good stuff. Would not expect that from Moon Knight, but there it is.
No, yeah. No, that's great. That's, again, something different.
Very, very much so. What if Moon Knight was weirdly wholesome? That's what he would be like if he was weirdly wholesome.
And it kind of works.
It kind of does. I had one last one. How about you?
I did as well. And that was Superman Red and Blue issue 6, the final issue.
Right. Yeah, you've been loving this one. This has been one of your favorites this year.
Yeah, this issue's stories were just all fantastic. You got one where Streaky the cat gets enraged after being asked to be put into a cage while they move the Fortress of Solitude to the South Pole. So the cat gets in. The story's called Hissy Fit, and the cat gets into a hissy fit, and Superman and Supergirl have to go and chase her, and she almost destroys a cargo ship because she smashes right through it, and they find out I'll just leave the cat to calm down, and the cat does calm down and eventually comes home. Tom King had a fucking amazing story in this issue.
Oh yeah.
About it's called The Special, and it's about this about Clark learning all he learns in life from his parents, and all the stuff about accepting people for who they are. God made everyone in his own image, but no one's better than the other, and all that sort of stuff. He learns it all in this diner, and all these important life moments happen in this diner. This is where him and Lois introduce Lois to his family and everything, and
wow.
They bring Jonathan for the first time and sort of stuff.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
All while this is happening, there's the same waitress who's known Clark her entire life, and they have this great moment at the end after Jonathan has died, and Clark is there on his own and everything, and she talks about how some people live their life in color, or she lives her life in black and white, and she's not bitter about it or anything, but she asks Clark because she knows he's been out in the world, what's that like, what's the color like, And Clark just says, "Oh well, it's I've been here and there and everywhere to the end of it all and everything." But the blue in her eyes and the reds on her cheeks are what reminds him of what's
Oh,
like real and everything. And it's a great panel because it's all in black and white and like the blue and red
until
sort of
that
color
moment.
until that moment where it turns to color.
Say what you want about Tom King, and I've said a lot, but the man actually knows color theory really well.
The man knows Superman really well. I don't know why he wasn't on a Superman book instead of a Batman book.
When
I just
again,
don't get it.
the weirder, trippier stuff I would have been more accepting of for Superman, because
Mm-hmm.
Superman can get away with that kind of thing.
Yep. There's a great story as well by Matt Wagner, who the Fleischer cartoons, he basically
Yes.
fleshes them out.
Nice.
And we got the Superman set in there where he's like fighting like the giant gorilla and the Rocketeers and all that sort of stuff. And we find Clark getting a little bit frustrated because his role as as an investigative journalist, he's like digging up all the stories behind those sorts of things. So like the gorilla went crazy because of like how it was treated in the circus, and like the Bulleteers were able to like get their rocket car because they stole the technology and all that, but no one cares about those stories. They only care about Superman, and because Superman sells papers.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
he's like frustrated and everything that no one's reading these stories, and they make like it's kind of like a comment on like I guess like videos like we do where it's like this is too long and like too much to read. Just give me the lowdown, give me the clickbait.
Yeah, exactly. Give it to me short, sweet.
And then he realizes that he has access to the biggest story ever, and that is Superman because he is Superman. So he ends up writing a story which he knows no one will see, but it's something he has to do just for like posterity, and it's like his story about how he comes from two different worlds, one from space and fantasy and the other one which is basically the American dream.
Right. Oh wow, that sounds really good actually.
Yeah. The final story, am I missing a story? Oh, there's one there which I believe was written by a Native American writer.
Oh shit.
I'm blanking on their name. Let me just see if I can find them. I think their name was, where is it?
Is it Little Bear? Because I think they're also doing something.
Darcy Little Badger.
Okay, Little Badger. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Little Bear was a Canadian cartoon. See, I knew it was Little Badger because she is also going to be doing that United States of Captain America book that comes out this week.
Yeah. Her story was about how Clark like literally learning how to like plant corn and keep corn maintained on the farm taught him about how to deal with things in the big city and everything, and how you need like persistence, patience, love, acceptance, all that to sort of that all transitions over from him learning farming to him being Superman. And it leads to a story where he, as Clark Kent, saves a man's life by giving him CPR and everything.
Shit.
Yeah, it's just a nice little story. The final one is great final story to end not just the issue but the series on. And it's about a boy that doesn't know how he's going to come out to his parents.
Oh, really? Wow.
And he keeps asking the question like, what will Superman do? And it's like, well, Superman, maybe he has his own secrets and maybe he does lock them up. And like, what do Superman's friends on the Justice League think? Do they know him? Like, why, if Superman can do all this, why can't I do this one thing and utter these two words? And like, what would that change in my world? Would that make it worse? Would that make it better? And he doesn't know what to do, and he kind of thinks that maybe he should just keep it to himself for now. But he goes home, and his parents all show him on the TV is when Superman reveals his identity to everyone, that he's Clark Kent and everything. And that with that, the boy decides he's going to tell his parents that he's gay because Superman wanted them to know who the real version of him was, the true honest version. And he did that, and his parents just accepted him.
Wow, that's a really interesting juxtaposition that I never would have thought of. Superheroes dealing with their secret identities and the secrets they internalize and keep, and the feelings that regular people deal with. I think, wow, that's a very high concept idea for a Superman story.
Yeah, it was fantastic and a great final like word in this series.
Yeah, but you've sold me on. I feel I need to go and actually read this now that it's fully collected, because this sounds like best of the year material.
Oh man, all the stories, like every week, every time this book came out, the stories were just so good.
Yeah, you speak very highly of it and you make me want to check it out.
Yeah, and I like that it was like writers that aren't really lesser known. Like you have your Tom Kings and your
Yeah,
Robert
obviously.
Venditti every now and then, but like a lot of the book was just like newer writers or writers
It's
who
a
haven't
good
written
mix, is what it
Superman
sounds like.
before. Yeah.
Man, that was such a high note. I wish you went last instead of me because I got to talk about Way of X #5, which was
Oh no.
honestly a bit of a sour note downer.
Oh really?
Yeah, which is weird because all these other Simon Spurrier stories have been again high concept, talking about really deep philosophical concepts and theology and everything else, and it's been a really interesting X-Men book, unlike any other. This one is a continuation of the last story because all the other ones have kind of been done in ones.
Mm-hmm.
This is a continuation. Honestly, I think they kind of dropped the ball in a couple places on this one.
Really?
Yeah, so again, it's continuing Nightcrawler trying to preach, restorative justice in Krakoa, trying to come up with his own religion, basically,
Mm-hmm.
for the mutants to follow. And like every issue has been them zeroing in on like one of Krakoa's tenets, and this one is, what is it? Protect this sacred land or respect this sacred land.
Yep.
And Nightcrawler's like, well, this one's bullshit. This one is completely vague, but religion loves vaguity. So I can work with this. I can, explode this and expound this into what I need for every situation. And he gets Lost and Cameron Cortez together, and it's like, okay, you two have to forgive each other now, because this only works if you forgive each other. But they don't want to forgive each other. They want to kill each other, is what they want to do. And Nightcrawler's getting all pissed off, being like, no, you just can't do this. And they're like, yeah, we can. Life is meaningless on Krakoa because we'll just get resurrected whenever we want. And he goes, no, that's so wrong. Life has to have meaning. Death has to have meaning. This is the problem with our society. And then it goes downhill from that because Nightcrawler's idea to finally get these two to see eye to eye is actually fucking insane and kind of cruel.
Yeah.
So he teleports them all up into the air on Mars because they're on planet Arakko, and he lets them all start falling to the ground and goes, okay, you can actually get out of this situation and not splat on the ground. Cortez, you have to be willing to put your shittiness aside and boost Lost power so she can manipulate the gravity and help you from falling.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously Cortez doesn't do it because he's a
Because
psychopath.
it's fucking Cortez, yeah.
Because he's a piece of shit. Why did Nightcrawler ever think he would do it? And Lost doesn't do it because she's like, no, he murdered my family, and because of that, I ended up getting kidnapped by a group of scientists who experimented on me. And again, the comic doesn't think this, but I think this. I'm like, Kurt, you're putting way more pressure on the victim here than you are the victimizer. Lost did nothing wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
So the fact that you're giving her more or less the same punishment as Cortez is kind of stupid and unfair on your part. And I'm like, okay, well, how are they going to save this? They don't have to, because none of this ended up mattering, because at that point, a fucking planetoid is going to crash into Mars and kill everybody.
Oh, fantastic.
So literally it's like, oh, so we're done with this, theological moral quandary and we're moving on to something else now. And Nightcrawler's like, oh no, Mars will be, destroyed and all the mutants will be killed. And, this will look really bad on mutant kind in the cosmic sense. What am I supposed to do here? Oh, I know, I'll teleport the thing away, but only if Cortez can supercharge my power, which he does. But not out of the goodness of his heart, only because he doesn't want to die.
He's a coward, yeah.
Because he's a coward, and because of that, Nightcrawler is able to save the day and save everyone. And before his death, he says, he saw the light, he saw the answers to all of his questions, but because Cerebro didn't back him up, he doesn't remember it when he's alive again.
No.
So close, doesn't remember it. And Cortez apparently made himself a vegetable by overexerting himself. So I guess that's his justice now. And Xavier's like, well, we could probably, heal him because we can heal everything. But that guy was kind of a dick and I don't want to. So we're just going to leave him like this. And Nightcrawler's like, that's horrible, Professor X. And Professor X is like, meh, can't save them all.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Whatever happened to, like surely, I think I remember reading it where, like, when they're allowed to be resurrected, they can, like, mess with their minds and, like,
they can.
Yeah, and, like, so, like, just do something so, like, Cortez isn't fucking dick.
I mean, isn't that equally as horrible? Again, in the
I know,
Marauders
but like
book,
it would make a bit more like sense in like what we've seen with that actually happening.
well, they're actually trying to tackle that story, that type of story in the Marauders book, because the Stepford Cuckoos messed around in the minds of one of those Hellfire Junior kids to try and, make her not evil. And they ended up actually only making things much worse by being like, oh, we'll fix your trauma. Oh, that's not just a thing we can turn on and off. Oh, no, we just can't make someone not a psychopath. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, we made things worse. It's just this one kind of felt like such a sour kick in the balls, because every issue before this ended on such like a positive pro-humanity, utopia type of message,
Yeah.
where it's like, look, we can figure it out, we can all work together. There are some things that are bigger than, religion and nationalism and everything. We need to be part of the race human and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice. This one's like, actually, there's injustice everywhere, and Krakoa is just entirely unfair from top to bottom.
Yeah, yeah. It's exactly the same as like humankind.
Society, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like, ow, that's depressing. And then, there's a whole story of Legion 2 trying to figure out what's going on about Onslaught, but he can't tell anyone about Onslaught, because if he does, then Onslaught might be able to take control of everyone, and they might be a little too late, because Onslaught literally incepts into people at the time of their resurrection, because basically everyone on the island's been resurrected one time or another. Onslaught's literally in everybody. Which actually makes me think, again, if they're doing like a religion and faith thing, it's like, oh, so Onslaught is like original sin in the Catholic sense, like he lives in you and he gets stronger when you give in to negative emotions and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, is that what they're trying to do, where it's like Nightcrawler's trying to make a religion, and, every religion usually needs, like, an adversary or antagonist,
Mhm.
so is, Onslaught going to be the devil?
Makes sense as well. It's like a combination of certain things from like the leaders of of the mutant kind, so like Xavier and Charles and all that, and
Yeah.
Magneto and all that sort of stuff. Makes sense.
Uh,
It makes sense.
Kali, again, Way of X has been a good Legion book. It has been. Apparently, this
Mhm.
is how you make a Legion book work. You make it about Nightcrawler and just have him as a fun side character. And Legion does some growing here. It's like, it was probably pretty lame how I tried to fix those, two teen mutant lovers by using my power so they could fuck each other, only for them to actually end up hating each other at the end. That was wrong of me. Again, tying into this whole playing God thing, and when playing God goes wrong.
Yeah.
But again, I just very uncharacteristic. Like, I went into this being like, oh, this will be another like really positive, uplifting story, and it wasn't. It was just it was a very, well, Jake, it's Chinatown sort of thing.
Which is like what all these mutant stories sort of devolve into, like where it's like, yeah, they're not as good as like they say they are.
It's that, but I think it's also on a certain level. Simon Spears, like, yeah, I'm asking a lot of like really big, really important questions, and then here in this book, he's like, I do not have an answer for any of these. It's like he came in here being like, yeah, restorative justice, that's the way to go. Oh no, restorative justice in action is really hard.
I'll just leave this for the next writer to deal with.
I'll leave this for someone else. And I guess it is true, where it's like, yeah, restorative justice makes a lot of sense in theory, but it's like, have you actually tried to practice it? Have you actually tried to go out and get a wronged party and a not wronged party to sit down and, make each other whole again? It's damn near impossible.
It's very difficult, yeah.
Yeah, I guess this is why we do the eye for the eye retributive justice, huh? Because it's a little easier. I can go through 3 or 4 retributive justices in a day, a restorative justice, I'll be here all day. Be here forever, man. But yeah, so that's that one. It's a shame that one didn't have such a positive, life-affirming message as the Superman stories you talked about.
That's all right.
I mean, it's still interesting. I mean, the fact that the comic could make me feel as bad as I did, I guess, is proof positive that it can still take on an emotional ride.
Exactly, yeah.
I think the worst thing you can do is walk away from a comic feeling nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, everyone. That was the show. That was the books for this week. That was everything. Anything coming up, Matt? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to push?
I've got I'm going to be doing more streaming soon, in I think the first week of September, second week of September, I've got a stream planned. It's not a gaming stream or anything. It's you'll learn more about it a little bit closer to it, but I've got a really cool idea that I'm gonna try and sort of set up and see if I can actually do. Because if I can do, then this just opens a whole world for me to be able to do this, and people are gonna like it, and it's in on one of my interests at the moment, which if people follow me on Twitter, they'll know what I'm talking about.
I think I know what you mean.
But yeah, it's very exciting. I've been meaning to do this type of stream for a long time, but just trying to get it to like the logistics of it to work. But I think I might have sorted that all out now. So keep an eye out for that. That'll come up in, I want to say, the second week of September, maybe the second or third week of September. But before that, I'll be doing more gaming streaming and stuff like that.
Wicked. More power to you. Lich Lord Chris, longtime fan and follower in the chat, actually asked a good question. Any big plans for episode 250? Not yet, but maybe we should do something.
We did, yeah. Well, before the show, we actually worked out that that'll be around the time Shang-Chi comes out, and it could be the spoiler cast, but maybe we'll do something else. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, maybe do something extra on top of that. Also, I'm not sure yet, everyone, but there might not be a show next week because I have to actually go away and go to the city, and I'm going to be gone for the weekend. I don't know when I'm coming back. Maybe we'll do a show Monday. Maybe we'll just wait a bit. So we'll see about that. And if we do end up missing a week, maybe that means we can have the Shang-Chi show and a special 250 show as well.
Yeah.
Work that. And maybe we'll do a live commentary. Maybe we'll do something we haven't done before.
Yeah. I know there is a way, like, I'm not sure how it works, but like through like Amazon Prime, you can like watch stuff on stream with people. How the fuck does that work?
Watch parties. Yeah, watch parties. Yeah, I've seen that too.
Maybe we could do something like that.
Yeah, we should. I know they've got some really good trash TV on Amazon, like crazy
fucking
chases.
Shitloads of trash TV.
Yeah, crazy police chases, caught on camera, worst chefs in America. We should watch something like that.
Yeah, well, we got to find something that we both have on Amazon Prime, because I know mine's different to yours.
Yeah, it is going to be different. Maybe, what is it? We should watch Street Beefs. I've been watching a lot of Street Beefs recently. If you haven't checked that out, it's basically the next evolution of felony fights. Only people actively go in to fight each other.
There you go. Will we get in trouble for streaming that?
Maybe. Oh, holy shit. Booyaka 16 there. When are you going to cover Iron Man issue number 11 by Christopher Cantwell? That's a Matt question.
That is actually coming up either to... Well, if you're watching the live stream, it will be coming out probably today or tomorrow. I've actually done the video. I just got to schedule it.
Right.
And yeah, if you're watching it on video, it's already out. Go watch it.
There you go. We'll do something fun for 250. We'll try and figure it out. Oh, apparently Sea Monster does watch parties. Okay, cool. Well, if other comic book YouTubers can do it, then we can figure it out.
We can do it. Well, we should maybe even watch like cartoons or something that are in like the public domain. All the Fleischer Superman cartoons are public domain. And they're all on YouTube in like 4K.
That's pretty good. I'm sure people would really like that. I know I've seen a lot of them, but not all of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure people would really dig that. So there you go, everyone. Lots of good stuff coming down the pipeline for the comic multiverse in the future. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Thank you all for the donations and everything. That really helps us out, especially in these trying times and everything when YouTube is fucking with our content again, as they like to do.
Yep.
So, that definitely helps us out. And we'll be back again next week with more stuff.
Yeah, catch you later, everyone.
All right, everyone. Bye-bye.